All right, my name is Tammy Moriarty, and I'm the Associate Director at the Center to Support Excellence in Teaching here at the Graduate School of Education. And I have had the pleasure of working with these wonderful EPIC leaders, fellows, our second cohort of EPIC leaders. It has been an amazing experience, and I'm very excited for them to tell you what they've been up to as they work as leaders at their own colleges to globalize education. And you'll hear many different ways that they're trying to do that. So without further delay, we're going to start with Jia-Yi.
Hi. I'm going to do it a little differently. I don't do well behind the podium. First, because I'm too short, so nobody can see me. So I figured I would just stand here and walk around a little bit. This is the teacher energy comes out, right? My name is Jia-Yi Cheng-Levine, and I cannot be more than grateful for my fellow leaders and also, of course, our mentor, Tammy. I want to talk about global connections through faculty engagement. And this is strategic implementation of CI. CI stands for, of course, as you all know, Comprehensive Internationalization. It's a mouthful. It's going to take me 2 minutes to say all the CIs I want to say in this presentation. So I'm just going to say CI. These are the faculty that we have been engaging. Okay, it's not pointing, but okay. So I want to talk about the why, the how, the what, the who, and the where when it comes to global connections we're trying to implement on our campus. I so admire the 10 faculty who went this morning and this afternoon. Your projects are the reason why we administrators are doing what we do. We want to put Daniela on the airplane. I put Sab on the airplane. We want to put the faculty to places where they can experience that sense of otherness and then bring back that humanity and the content and experience into the classroom. So the why is my personal why. As you can see, Kelly was so proud of me. Where's Kelly? I am so proud of my accent. I am a professor of English. I grew up in Taiwan. I didn't learn English growing up until I came to this country. So as a professor of English, I'm more proud of my role as a professor of English as a dean of international education. The reason for that is because we do need to let people recognize there are so many different, 700 different Englishes in the world, right? So when I taught, I was very proud of it because I benefit tremendously from international education. Therefore, I want to, in some ways, cliche way of giving back to the community. And of course, I'm very proud of my hyphenate names, like the first and last hyphenate names. And then I am so happy to see more and more people have hyphenate names. What I want to do is make it impossible possible for others in my role as much as I can. So that's my why. And now we have the institutional why. College of the Canyons has global responsibility in our mission. For those of you who are administrators and professors, I really would encourage you to advocate, to have global responsibility or some kind of global citizenry in your mission, in the mission of the college. I truly fought to have that, to stay in our mission when someone was working really hard to take it out. So we're very happy that's there. Because of it, we, as an institution, we have to do comprehensive internationalization. And as many of the faculty show us this morning, it is to advance global perspectives across curricula that you have seen 10 examples this morning. And most of you will follow ACE, American Council on Education. They have this beautiful wheel that we adopted. And look at this, all the elements in comprehensive internationalization. Faculty sits in all of it, in the center of it. So if we want to advance global education, we have to actively engage faculty. And this is how. So we wrote on strategic plans. We're educators. Without a plan, it's very difficult to convince people actually can get this done. Many people have great ideas, but not until you come back with the plan. You tell people, I have strategic goals, I have timeline. That way people say, okay, maybe perhaps I want to invest in this idea. So the 2021-2024, we developed the strategic goals for CI is to advocate, to be a support for students, to create opportunities for faculty, to develop campus community. That way, Julie, to develop campus community that create a global culture. And then we want to raise my college's global profile. So all this, so we stand for EPIC project. I changed my focus 5 times. That was my biggest struggle. There's so much to do. So I decided to focus on faculty, and it turned out to be a very good one. So now how do we do it, right? So we have with direct engagement with faculty. My goal was out of COVID, we have about 3 very, very active faculty engaged in CI. So I said, if I can just double it, I'll be happy. This year. So we end up having 12 faculty really actively engaged, so we surpass our goals. The problem with surpassing our goals, next time you want to do even more. So from that point on, I said, okay, by 2026, 2027, which is the end of the next cycle of strategic goals, I would like to have 40 faculty to be actively engaged in implementation of CI. And Saab can check my math to see if that's correct or not. So what are the projects that we did? The project events. We would find opportunities for faculty to engage in partnership building. And then we literally put on that airplane to go to many, many different countries. So a lot of faculty travel to different countries, I think a total of 10 this year. Got on the plane, visit the places, build partnership, bring the result back. So we put our students on the airplane and other faculty on the airplane to go. So there's nothing like to be connect with someone, especially not culturally as similar as yours, to interact with person. That's why we didn't do this symposium online. We were doing this in person. Similarly, with international education, people have to be somewhere, have to travel. When Jane goes to interview people, they say in France, right? That kind of interconnectedness, you can never replace that with online connection. We develop core projects. Surprisingly, the faculty participates in nursing. As you know, nursing is highly regulated. It's very difficult for them to develop international projects. But we got it to work with this university in Belgium. What else did we do? We support faculty on teaching international students. We developed a non-credit course to be implemented in the spring of 2025. This is mostly done by faculty and then in consultation with me. And then, so next step for the big one will be curricular infusion of global topics. I'm getting so many of the ideas from the faculty project that you just presented. And the best thing is when the faculty come to me and say, hey, Jia-Yi, I want to do this. Can you support it? I said, sure, let's try it out. So someone, I can say in the presentation said, if you don't want to be part of it, at least you don't impede the process, right? I think maybe it's Ted said that. So if you don't want to be part of it, at least get out of the way. Either help or get out of the way. So so we have faculty develop workshops for their fellow faculty, how to teach international students in the classroom. And then develop the course, as I mentioned, how to more in-depth talking about teaching international students. And we connect faculty with faculty overseas. When faculty get together and talk about things, it's so exciting. And then, you all, 10 of you, all of you, maybe really miss teaching. In that sense, because that's where the soul of higher education is in that classroom. So I, as a administrator, what I want to do, I want to implement it, institutionalize it, and systematize it, and find resources, connect people, resources, and projects. So faculty get to do what you do because Saab alone has 300 students a year. I just need to work with one person, Saab. He talked to 300 people. So to me, faculty are multipliers. We just need to build a system to support that. And then, of course, we have international event. You can see this one, Jeff Baker, animation professor, came to me. I want to do an international animation film festival. I said, great. Do you know how to do it? No. But we figured out. We got 600, close to 700 submissions for 70-something countries. I mean, think about it. Just the fact that high school students, middle school students, community college students create their own film that we showcase it to the world for them, on their behalf, and with them. And then we have nursing faculty, as I mentioned, and then business faculty, and then working with a different department, online education department, trained a university in Honduras for them to how to do student-centered pedagogy when it comes to online education. And we have an annual signature event called International Forum on Youth. And of course, the globally connected faculty idea, I took the picture. I'm going to do that on my campus. So thank you very much, Julie. So you guys know this guy. So this is the who and the where. So these are just some of the countries this year alone that we have sent faculty overseas to build partnership. We now have 2 faculty have the opportunity to teach in the summer, get paid, teach in summer math, and also history in the summer at the university in Rome. And then when they experience it, they come back, they want to infuse our global topics into their classes. Taiwan, I'm from Taiwan, so I have a lot of connections there. We bring business professors there. Japan, Dr. Sam Matsumoto has helped us connect to a lot of universities. Because of it, we became a sub-grantee of a huge grant. The Japanese government wanted to internationalize this university, so we became part of that grant. Because of it, they have, I think, 20 students, maybe 18, 15 students up, and 2 faculty come to us for 2 weeks. And then we have 3 students and faculty go to Japan, all paid by the Japanese government grant. So it can be done. You may not have money, but use other people's money, right? The best is always use other people's funding to be able to do what you want to do. And of course, we also send faculty to Sweden. So we would develop forms for faculty to tell us what they want to do, and then we try to implement it. So what did I learn? What I learned is we have to network, right? But I don't like the word network as much. Network is more about what you can give me, and more about partnership building. When we build partnership and build relationship with sincerity and integrity, people will know. People will sense it, and they will want to work with you if they share the same value with you. And what I do is usually when I talk in my communication, I try to appeal faculty's higher purpose as an educator. In that sense, what do? We always come back to focus on access to education, to higher education for our students, from their student engagement, and then you lead naturally student success. And I know with academic, we don't talk about love, but seriously, if you want to have any changes, you have to guide changes with love. That's the only way to do it. So what's next? So many thanks to EPIC, my fellows. Someone just wanted, I think Aaron shared, we already developed this. I said, you did? So basically, that's what we're doing right now, have faculty take on that possibility to develop a environmental sustainability and global citizenship. I think someone mentioned in the back here in the response earlier is that UN SDG 17 goals, you cannot ignore it. So international education right now, there's no better time and the place to integrate the UN SDG, 17 of them, into international education. So all the workshop I looked at right now is all about that. And then the Yanzais are way ahead of us. So I'm taking a lot of ideas from that and see how we can develop that. And we are revising our CI strategic goal for next round to reflect a shifted focus. And then we 6 Ps, A, B, C, D, F, like the grades, right? And then we just develop the 5 Es. Someone mentioned about fresh off the press. Really, we just finished this we all agreed to last Thursday, Last Thursday, when we all agree, in our next round of strategic plan for global education, we want to focus on education component of it, engagement, empowerment, entrepreneurship, and the environment. So that's our next strategic goal. And anyone want this, if you want any of our strategic plan, email me. I'm very, very happy to share. I cannot thank you enough. These are the people that we have put in on 8 of them put in on the airplane this year. Of course, we like to diversify the discipline and the ethnic backgrounds of our of our faculty. But it's the first step. It's our beginning, and we hope to reap more benefit for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Jia-Yi. All right. Next up is Takami, creating the Global Studies Hub.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the one fellow that went rogue and did not prepare any slides, so I'll just be talking at you very quickly, or very slowly. So my name is Takami Nieda. Oops, did I want that? No? Go back. Okay. Michael. So I am a faculty member at the English department and the chair of the Global Studies Emphasis Committee at Seattle Central College. I should also mention that I was an EPIC faculty fellow in 2019 to 20, and I've returned as a leadership fellow this year. And those of you who have projects that are a bit more on the sort of institutional level, I think I would highly encourage you to apply for the Leadership Fellowship in the future years. So the Global Studies Emphasis, of which I'm a chair, basically it's a distinction that students can earn by taking 25 credits of global studies related courses, which includes world languages. And that distinction appears on their AA transcript. That enables students to get a bit of a jump start on their 4-year university degree requirements should they choose to major in global studies, international relations, and related fields. So my project for the EPIC Leadership Fellowship was to raise the visibility of global studies opportunities at my college, but also sort of connecting with area universities and making certain that there's better sort of synergistic efforts going on across the campuses. In order to do this, my goal was to create what's called the Global Studies Hub. It's basically just a web page, which just centralizes all the information relating to global studies. At my college, we also have 2 other campuses. I'm at Central, there's North and South, and then there are the area universities. Prominently University of Washington in Seattle, which is where most of our students transfer to. So it would include, the hub would basically include information about study abroad opportunities, internships, the community college fair, such as the one that is hosted here at Stanford. There would also be professional development opportunities that would appear on the hub for faculty and staff, such as this fellowship that would also be linked as a resource to them. By the way, the hub isn't quite live yet, as it's still being finalized, but once it is, I'm happy to share that webpage with you. So in creating this hub, the first step was to send out a questionnaire to programs both inside and outside our college who might have an interest in the creation of this hub and would like to see their initiatives, their programs represented on the webpage. And essentially when I sent these questions out, I asked them 2 questions. The first one was, how would they like to be represented on the Global Studies Hub? And please provide those links, please provide that information that you would like to see. The second question was, how else can we strengthen our ties and collaborate across our 2 programs to promote global studies in general in the future? So I sent this questionnaire to programs inside the college, programs such as the International Educations Program, Guided Pathways, first-year learning communities, Running Start, Seattle Promise, the deans, the president, VPI, and then the deans across the other 2 campuses as well. We also sent the questionnaire to programs outside the college, the Center for Global Studies at the UW, East Asian Studies at the UW, and also Translation Studies Hub, of which I'm a part of. Also other places such as the Consortium for Study Abroad, National Consortium for Teaching About Asia, and we also asked our very own Kristen Hara to be our Stanford liaison in terms of what sort of opportunities are available for community college staff and students as well. So what was wonderful about putting out the questionnaire is oftentimes the questionnaires led to further meetings and Zoom meetings where we discussed how we might collaborate in the future. Before I talk about some of the outcomes, I should probably talk a little bit about the challenges. Perhaps you've experienced this too, and Julie, I think you touched upon this. As we are still kind of coming out of the pandemic, and certainly during the pandemic, I feel like general communication and email has kind of flagged a bit. You're talking about the great disengagement, and certainly that seems to persist. And so it took quite a bit more time than I was expecting to get responses for questionnaires and responses in general. Perhaps I would probably kind of schedule in a little bit more lead time for those types of things. Another challenge was to get engagement from upper admin at my school, and perhaps some didn't respond to the questionnaire at all. Part of that is because the school has experienced quite a bit of turnover at the upper administrative levels. And in the months that I worked on this project alone, there were vacancies at Dean, VPI, the President, the Director of Guided Pathways, and currently the Director of International Programs. So it was really difficult to get buy-in, and certainly with interim folks kind of committing to any sort of committing to global studies in any sort of material or financial way. So that's been really tough. Michael. So something that I'd always been sort of pursuing was that, I would perhaps somehow get sort of a course release that would allow me to do this in a more sustained way, perhaps even getting a stipend where I can pay part-time instructors to kind of to serve on the committee, Global Studies Committee. And so those things have been sort of difficult. So what was evident to me early on was that I had to kind of elbow my way into initiatives that were already ongoing, that already had financial backing, that always had stakeholders sort of buy-in, and then just kind of sort of elbow my way into those initiatives and see how global studies would fit into all that. Sorry. I promise I'm not doing this on purpose. So some of the happy outcomes from sort of following up on the questionnaire were with the University of Washington in particular. One example is that I teach a multilingual translation class, which is part of our college's global studies offerings. And we were able to host a literary translation masterclass with a quite esteemed translator. His name is Anton Herr. Through our partnership with the University of Washington, specifically the Translation Studies Hub. And this was the inaugural year of our partnership, and we hope that we'll continue, we'll be able to continue this collaboration in next year's as well. We also learned early on that the college will be offering a series of learning communities. You guys have some learning communities, co-taught interdisciplinary classes. And they would be offered specifically to first-year college students. And they would be offered every quarter, 2 learning communities every quarter for first-year students. And so what we were able to do is to make certain that one of those learning communities is going to be one specially focused on global studies. So it would be a 10-credit course, and with those 10 credits, they would already have 10 credits of their 25 credits that they would need in order to earn the emphasis. So they've kind of sort of a nice head start there. And I thought that was a really wonderful thing to be able to become involved in. And so the first learning community is titled Everyone Eats, the Language and Global Politics of Food. And hopefully it will run, and hopefully it will be sustainable. We also decided that going forward, we will have someone from the International Education Program Office to join the Global Studies Emphasis Committee. Not quite sure why we didn't have that previously, but we really felt that the International Education Office should have a voice and should have a bit more knowledge about global studies offerings at our college. And they were likely the ones who were going to interface with international students who often come to our college seeking, a global studies emphasis or coursework in that. So that is a good partnership there. And then lastly, I want to say that the meeting with the UW, the Center for Global Studies, was really especially fruitful. The directors at the center were keen to collaborate with us to ensure that we're creating clearer, smoother pathways for our global studies students into the UW. We identified that we needed better articulation of courses for transfer directly to the global studies major over there. And what I learned through these meetings is that the funding for the Center for Global Studies there largely relies on Title VI funding. And apparently the next application round is coming out 2026. And so what they had generously offered is that they would write in specific initiatives that we would like to happen at our college, at Central College, right into their application requirements for the Title VI funding. Apparently, one of the priorities for that application is that you're showing enough sort of a lot of your programming has to do with community colleges, outreach with community colleges, and collaborations across community colleges. And so they were really generous in offering that. And so that's maybe something that you might kind of consider in reaching out to area universities in your parts of the world. The last thing I want to say is funding. So funding has been difficult, and I say this not, I kind of share this not to sort of thump my chest, but just to say that this was possible if it's something that you're looking forward to or looking for. I was able to secure a sub-grant through the Weish Institute for Leadership in the Humanities, and that has now allowed me to actually take a course release so I can actually devote a bit more time to these initiatives. And also I will now have a modest budget to pay part-time faculty members to serve on the committee. So that was a very important get to us. And then the next steps, in the pandemic, during the pandemic, our Global Studies Emphasis Committee has dwindled somewhat and has kind of died. And so it's currently it's a stalwart group of two. It's just me and another faculty member. And so we'll need to recruit new members in the coming months. And when I do that, I'd like to recruit members specifically out of the STEM disciplines, especially because I reside in the humanities and arts discipline. I tend not to have a very strong network over in the STEM fields. And I feel like the STEM fields, as Saab and Yu-Tang have demonstrated, have really, really important and innovative ways to incorporate global studies into their curriculum. So that's something that we'll be working on. And just in general, just making certain that this is a sustainable project. So we're very much in the middle of our journey, but I'd like to finish by thanking everyone involved with the EPIC Fellowship, which has been so instrumental in making progress in the project. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Takami. All right, up next is Michael. Remember this slide? Yes. On building bridges to strengthen global studies, patience, and persistence for new ways forward.
Let's see, how are we all set? There we go. Will this work? Yes. All right. Thank you all for sponsoring the EPIC Fellowship. I appreciate it. Stanford Global Studies, EPIC organization. Really appreciate you bringing us all together, learning from each other, and sharing ideas and resources. I just wanted to give a little background on my year, which I'll try not to whine too much, but what we have is an idea of coming back to a campus or being at a campus where I chew around the edges in trying to support what's going on with the curriculum and with faculty and with student learning. As a librarian, I've been here practicing in academia 30 years. I've been at this community college for about 11 years as a director, and my background, of course, is library science as well as educational technology. And along the way, I've been active in service across the university, state, national, international library associations. And because of my I wish to expand my skill set and to explore the world, I really started thinking about reaching out, traveling, going other places to see what's going on with library science in general. And along the way, I was able to benefit by learning things about other disciplines. So that's what I did with the Fulbright Hays initiatives. And then another part of my professional service was seated in this international librarianship I got involved with IFLA as a representative of the American Library Association, and that took me around the world in my role as chair of their audiovisual committee. And so I pair a lot of that with my educational technology background. This is the skill set I bring to a campus, to leadership in the libraries. And so we're support people around the edges that are trying to help advance the whole conversation on a campus with regards to student success. And in a place like Bronx Community College, I think it's really important to be able to look outward and bring skill sets together for some successful collaborations so that students have really rich experiences. This is why I'm involved. This is why I looked at this application and wanted to be with this group of really fine educators and leaders. So at home, Bronx Community College sits on the land, the Lenape peoples, and in that area, it was a high point geographically in the Bronx early on in the history of New York City and Manhattan. And currently we have about 6,000, 5,000. Our enrollment has fallen over the past 7 years as the economy went down, tanked. We stopped hiring people before the pandemic. And then when the pandemic came along, we also lost a lot of staffing and faculty and student enrollment because of that unfortunate reality. And now we also have undergone a whole ricochet of administrative overturn. So we have seen, as the administration has turned over, that there has been little or no support given to what is actually an item in our institutional initiatives and goals and objectives. But anything that happens with global initiatives and internationalizing the curriculum happens only in a very siloed or even individual level. If a faculty member is still on board and has an expertise with international concepts and topics, and they put it into their scholarship, into their teaching, and perhaps in doing grant seeking so that they can take students with them in hands-on projects, that's the only thing that goes on. There is no administrative support generally right now, and no funding, of course, that goes along with that. And so we're in a place where we need to look back to the legacy of what's happened and pull it forward once again, especially in these times when we know we need to think about who our students are and the world that they have to live in going forward. Initially, I wanted to do a project that I could get excited about, perhaps bringing to campus energy with relation to study abroad, exchange programs and things of that nature. And that didn't work out. The provost that sponsored me here resigned. And so the one bit of support I had left the campus. And with that, we had an interim provost for a while. Our president then resigned. Our vice president for finance then resigned. So it's been a real interesting thing. I thought I would fall back to the typical librarian support of developing a resources guide or portal, as Takami was talking about. But then the new provost showed up and said, you know what, let's talk about co-curricular opportunities. Let's survey the staff, the faculty, to see if they're interested, what their interests are, what their current activities are, and re-enliven the whole community with regards to having a global initiatives committee, if you will. So that's where I went with the project finally, item number or choice number 3, door number 3. And so we went towards surveying and convening this group, and eventually, as a dutiful librarian, I'll make sure that we also do develop a resources guide. So what did we deal with? I was working with one stakeholder who was actually the legacy leader on global initiatives before all the funding and the support went away. And it was interesting to actually work with that person, try to recover the memories, the content, and to start talking about turning that into the future of the internationalized curriculum on campus. The conversation was kind of slow, if you imagine. Someone basically who didn't, have the resources all this time, didn't necessarily want to see a new partner coming in from the edge and doing it. So you have to be, very politically astute and patient with regards to moving forward in supporting these projects. And so we're also looking at, again, the faculty. And what we did was develop a survey that was based on the common flexible core that's used for the gen ed at the City University of New York. And we're looking at how those things align, of course, with the globalization topics, and then taking a survey of the faculty's scholarship, their course content, and then also their interest in whether they want to belong in this new group of people that will explore what's moving forward. And so we did the survey, it was launched, we got virtually no responses in the beginning. We sent out the survey again, and the response rates increased dramatically. I report, even as I've been sitting here in California this weekend, we got more responses to the survey, yay. And so we will be establishing an advisory group for global initiatives on the campus. It's been a haul, but I feel like with the persistence and the patience, we've been able to bring people together again. We're igniting new interest in, the possibilities, bringing back people's interest. I'm really personally thinking that it's sharing the information that really needs a boost, the marketing, the PR. And so that's going to be a third item that I'm really interested in advancing beyond the portal and beyond the group, coming together to work these things forward so that the students can have a richer experience. Is there anything else I had on there? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Michael. Next up, we have Lou beginning the process of campus globalization.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being so patient and sitting here so long. My name is Louis Ascione. I'm the Dean for the School of Liberal Arts at San Diego Miramar College. It's great to be here. I'd like to begin with a quote, if you don't mind. My quote is, "When you present last at a symposium, all the good ideas have already been spoken." Okay? So that being said, I'm going to now give you a presentation on the history of Mexican cuisine. Okay? It rocked this morning. Why not? So we might as well do that. So my title is Beginning of the Process of Campus Globalization, but it really does need a subtitle. I wrote it, I didn't think about this, but the subtitle would be Overcoming Obstacles of the Eurocentric Curriculum. That's really what I want to focus on, is overcoming the Eurocentric curriculum. So I want to begin with a story, a true story. When I was an undergrad, I studied humanities, philosophy, and world religions. The moneymakers, And so but in this curriculum, I really did get a lot of non-Eurocentric ideas, especially in philosophy, about different ideas about knowledge, different ideas about ethics, different ideas about truth, all kinds of things, And I went to graduate school. I went my doctoral program in philosophy, And I started working this into my dissertation a little bit. And the chair of my committee actually sat me down, and he didn't say what I was saying. I was integrating these ideas. I thought it was really cool, really excited about it. He didn't say, "You're wrong, Lou." He didn't say, "I think you might want to think this out," or "They're not correct in any way." Here's what he said to me. He goes, "That's just vulgar." Really, he actually said that to me. And just to clarify, a couple weeks later, months later, I took it out and I started working it back in. I couldn't help it. It was just built into me, right? He actually sat down and he threw it down on the table and said, excuse my language, folks, I'm quoting, "You son of a bitch, I'm not on your committee anymore." And he walked out. And I'm like my cousin Vinny, like, you was serious about that, right? He was, and so I didn't know how to process it back then. I didn't understand it, but I was literally challenging the Eurocentric nature of the curriculum, and I didn't get it. And so basically what I'm going to talk about today is actually processing that, what we can do about it. And my goal is to say how we can overcome that at the end, if that makes sense. And it's a big thing to do. So, let's go to the second slide. Sorry. So I'm going to start out. Let's unpack it a little bit, if we can. So there's three things that make Eurocentrism what they are. The central of our college curriculum. I say it's tradition, elitism, and I mean elitism, and the bureaucracy, and they all work together to create this protective belt around our curriculum that really makes it unassailable. It's very, very difficult to get around. So I want to be clear. Let's look at, some of these things, as I was joking about before, have already been said a million times today, but I want to go back through it a little bit. Take history. It consists of, we were all taught American history and Western Civ. You guys remember that, right? They are, in fairness, history is now working to more of a world history, model, but it's still there. They're still fighting that battle. They're doing pretty well. Philosophy, as Professor Preston already told us, canonical works, Greek, Latin, German, French, English thinkers, very, very clear. You don't, if there's philosophy, they call it Asian philosophy, if it's going to be something like that, they're going to separate it out as something special and something different. Art, music, and literature dominated by European upper class tradition, taste, and values, plain and simple. So I just want to be clear about that. Now, some people don't see that. They don't think of it that way. So this occurred to me one day. I just want to bring this up because I only have a few minutes, right? So I'm going to, so I thought of a shorthand way to make this clear, okay? I started looking at all the mottos of the colleges, right? So look, Harvard University, notice everything is either in a different language. Nothing is in English. It's always mostly in Latin. Very few colleges, some of them have English, but very few. Harvard, Veritas, truth, right? Truth, am I right, guys? Come on, you guys. Come on, you Eurocentrists. Come on, you guys know it. Shout it out, Yale University, Lux Veritas. Anyone? Light and truth. How about Princeton? Dea sub numine viget. But getting tougher, isn't it, right? Right? It doesn't matter. That's the whole point. Who's it written for? And then California State University, Vox Veritas Vita, they throw life in there as well. Big, great, And by the way, my niece was just accepted into Smith College, and she just started there. So let me look that. We have a Smith fan. Check you out. It's an all-girls school. How are you clapping? Right. So anyway, but I looked at hers up. It's in Greek. Can anyone read that? I, because of my money-making degree, happen to know what it says, right? But it says, arete and gnosis. Arete means excellence, or the Christians would say virtue, and gnosis is knowledge. That's where G-N-O-S-I-S, where we get our word knowledge from. But who is that written for? By the way, Stanford, I looked it up. It's in German. And I think I didn't put a lot of research into it. I think it's actually translated, a German translation of a Latin text, I believe. Okay, so still some, but why are they not in English? Where is it? It's that we have this sort of what's the word? Sort of this religious belief that these things are, if you say it in Latin, somehow it elevates it into another degree, right? You all know when you watch horror movies, if you want to summon the Satan or a demon, you have to say these sequence of Latin words, right? If you want to make them go away, you got to know the other Latin words. I don't know why it's in Latin, but we do believe this, right? Thank you, Kristen. Can you hold it up for everyone to see so that we can see it's 5 minutes? Anyway, I'm not trying to cram this home. I want to make it clear. This is built into our curriculum. This is built into who we are as an educational system, for sure. But I think the question is, how do we overcome it? I think there's a path. Okay, the path. Don't bother reading this. I actually don't have time for this nonsense. So the path is the work that all the faculty have been doing. You've seen all these things today. All these faculty are finding ways to decolonize their curriculum, to globalize their curriculum. But that doesn't mean that the four-year colleges, they can transfer. These are all community college instructors, right? It's going to transfer into any four-year college. So what they have to do, and by the way, I want to be clear, these are exceptional faculty. Not every community college faculty member is doing. A lot are, but not all for sure. And these are exceptional. These are very exceptional examples of community college instructors, to be clear. So what we have to do is what my EPIC colleagues helped me to do was to create global studies programs that are accepted by the four-year colleges. We need to get the ideas into the students' head and those students into the four-year colleges with these ideas, not just electives that don't mean anything. And so I did create I found an ADT, which is an associate degree for transfer, that exists in California for community college. I actually didn't know that. I'm a dean and because we don't have it in our district. It doesn't exist. I mean, I brought it in because my colleagues brought it up and I was like, wow, that's a great idea. And so that's the path, is to get those students in there, teach them. And also to take all these courses you hear today. They need a home. They need a degree plan to be in. They can't just stand alone as electives. That doesn't help the students. That doesn't change the system at all. And so I really want to find a home. And so this is our first home. So I got the ADT curriculum. Sorry, let's go to the implementation. Sorry, that's the path. I apologize, guys. The path was finding the ADT program. And then sorry, I don't even know what my slides say anymore, guys. I'm just ramping up here. Thank you for the 2 minutes, Kristen. It's awesome. So the implementation of the whole thing, the product is this ADT program. And the implementation was I found faculty to champion this product. There's 2 courses that we need. We have all these courses that are awesome that didn't belong anywhere, that now they're going to belong to a global studies program. There was 2 courses that we don't have, like called Global Studies Introduction. I don't know. But I found 2 exceptional faculty to create, even one to create a course and another to create another course. They're going to do that. I also found, hooray, the money to pay them to do this, because they have to be compensated to do this kind of stuff. So I did find the money to do it, and it's going to be, and they're going to put it through curriculum. So that's pretty much it. That was I know it's sort of anticlimactic at this point, but I do want to end and say, folks, the globalization of our curriculum, is not vulgar. I've been waiting 35 years to say that, by the way. It is not vulgar. In fact, it is so important, given the world we live in is global by nature. It's a disservice to our students not to teach them a global curriculum. So, and my job as an administrator is to facilitate this process and find ways. And right now, this is the only path I see, is that ADT program. But we've got to continue this kind of stuff, and hopefully it'll trickle into the four-year colleges, and our country will become slowly more globalized. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lou. Aaron couldn't be with us today, but he recorded his presentation. So this is our last presentation, which is Rebuilding a Global Community, Invigorating Global Studies at Foothill College. So here we go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Korngiebel, and I'm the Dean of Business and Social Sciences at Foothill College. I'm here today to present to you on my EPIC project, Rebuilding a Global Community and Invigorating Global Studies at Foothill College. But before I get started, I wanted to take a moment to briefly apologize to all of you for not being there today. I was excited about your work and really wanted to see the results. And in particular, Julie, I'm very sorry for not being there to support you. I hope to connect with you all at some point in the future, and you can tell me all about your work. But trying to keep this short because I know I'm the last presentation, so I'll jump right into it. Because I did hear that Lou was going to buy everybody drinks. Isn't that right, Lou? After this, right? He's giving me a side eye. I better get going. So as I mentioned, my project's on rebuilding a global community. Invigorating Global Studies at Foothill College. So just to give you a background before I get started about talking about my project, Foothill College has had a Global Studies Associate degree for transfer since 2019. A group of faculty at the time came together. All of them had already globalized a lot of their curriculum and felt that, Foothill should have a Global Studies degree, and we came together and started one in 2019. And the structure of it's interdisciplinary in nature. We have two specific Global Studies courses that are focused on global issues and global structures, and then the rest of the degree is comprised of different disciplines in the social sciences and arts, humanities that have a global focus. And so the degree itself is very interdisciplinary, and it's a great opportunity for students who like where the intersections of all these social sciences and especially in applying it to a global context. And so the enrollment in the program since founding has been pretty variable, steady, but nothing exciting. It kind of coasted along during COVID. Shortly after it was founded, there was no marketing of the program. There really wasn't any momentum. It was just kind of started and put out there. I became dean in the Business and Social Science division in 2022, and started to learn about the different programs. And I could sense as I was having conversations, getting to know you conversations with faculty, that there was some tension around global studies and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. It felt more like the issues were around how the classes were assigned, but there seemed to be something deeper, and that of course would bubble up in my work. The program itself, we had 2 to 3 faculty teaching the global studies classes, but there wasn't a lead, and so I felt like if this program was going to go anywhere, we needed to have somebody who would take ownership of it and get out there and promote it and try to help it grow. And so shortly after becoming dean, I named a department chair, and in name, it wasn't an official title until recently approved through collective bargaining. But Julie Jenkins, as you all know, was named the department chair. And through conversations with Julie, I learned about the EPIC program, and here we are today. So my project was centered around increasing student awareness and growing enrollment in global studies. I had planned to create a project, a marketing strategy to help grow the program, increase student awareness of it, and also increase stakeholder engagement around the program, both on campus, community, and faculty. So the goals, I had 3 primary goals for this fellowship. One was to create a marketing plan to increase student awareness and enrollment in the global studies program. Another was to address faculty concerns around global studies teaching assignments, and then also to increase engagement in the campus community for our global studies offerings. So my work really began after our summer intensive. So this is both fall quarter and pre-fall quarter. I met with our marketing director. He was newly hired. Had a great conversation around a marketing strategy for the year and how we were going to promote global studies and global events. Had some initial successes. He grabbed my personal LinkedIn feed and my post about getting the EPIC Fellowship and broadcasted on campus social media. He posted several postings on some of the summer programs that we have that are run out of my division here. That are global focused, and had some really great momentum right before the start of the fall quarter. But unfortunately, the new marketing director was terminated shortly after we had this momentum, and so there was a gap before the new marketing director was hired, and so a lot of this early momentum was lost. We also had issues with the fall enrollments. The 12-week class that we were offering didn't fill, and I had to cancel it. But Julie and I talked it through, and we decided to try again with a 6-week late start class, which did fill. So we were able to salvage enrollment and keep the program running and viable and alive in fall quarter. I also, at our division kickoff meeting for fall quarter, made our global studies program a division-wide goal in promoting and creating events around it and really raising awareness of the global studies offerings at Foothill College. And so I called a faculty meeting to discuss marketing and strategies and ideas, and had a great group of around 10 faculty show up. We brainstormed for about an hour and came up with some really good ideas, some of which we implemented this year. And I felt we were creating some buzz amongst the division faculty on around global studies and really, getting out there and promoting it to students. But during the meeting, faculty's tensions arose again about how classes were assigned. And so I felt strongly that we needed to address that if we were going to move forward together as a team. So winter quarter rolled around. We had the same issue again with our global studies enrollment. We again had to cancel the class. We pivoted again, added it as a 6-week late start class, and we were able to get it to run again through this pivot and through Julie's flexibility. And so, there clearly was an underlying issue. And so I had some conversations with leadership on what might be the issues there. And some of the concerns that bubbled up was about the program viability. And one of them was the DeAnza's program. They were reviving their global studies program, and there was thoughts or concerns that perhaps DeAnza's new rollout was peeling off enrollment from our program. DeAnza's, of course, our sister college in the district. I investigated that, and that wasn't the case. DeAnza's program was really getting up and running in spring quarter, so our low enrollments in fall and winter weren't because of DeAnza, they were because of some other reason. Another reason that leadership proposed to me was that ethnic studies, the new ethnic studies requirement for associate degree for transfers mandated by the state of California might be the reason that we're seeing declines in global study enrollment. And I investigated that as well. And the ethnic studies requirement is its own requirement in the associate degree. It's not in the same category as the global studies, which global studies 1 and 2 at our institution are under the social sciences general education requirements. And so really the only competition we have for just the general student population taking these global studies classes is the other social science classes at the institution. And so I investigated those claims, and really there was nothing to them. And really, in my mind, it was just we needed to market more. I met with the new marketing director. We talked about plans, but there wasn't the uptake that I had with the first program or the marketing director. And so I acted on one of the ideas that in our brainstorming session, it was to hire interns, student interns to help support marketing of the program. And so I reached out to our digital marketing faculty in our business department, and they put a blast out in their class of students who were taking the digital marketing classes. And we interviewed a couple candidates and hired one. Wasn't as impactful as I'd hoped hiring the student. As you all know, students, they have lives, and certainly they're first and foremost a student. And so there were times when we really wanted to promote things, but our student intern had papers to write and finals to study for. And so again, not much traction there. But really the primary thing that we were able to accomplish in winter quarter was we met to discuss a process for assigning global studies classes and a way to create a rotation so that multiple faculty could teach in the program. And so we met in winter quarter. We were having a great conversation. We were knocking out the process. We had union representation there to make sure that we were building a process that was within the bounds of our collective bargaining agreement. But during the meeting, a conflict arose. There was some territorialism around who started the program, and some heated words were exchanged. And we spent a lot of time for the second half of the meeting, trying to calm and frazzle nerves, trying to talk through the issues together. Julie jumped in and did a great job of helping to moderate the conversation. But it was clear we weren't going to come to agreement then. We'd only scheduled the meeting for an hour, and so we had to leave it at that. I met with the two faculty members in question, and it became clear to me that this was a longstanding issue that had been bumbling under the surface that I wasn't aware of. And And through the course of the conversations, one of the faculty members unfortunately decided to step out from teaching and participating in global studies at all. I'm hoping that we can get her to change her mind down the road. But we were able to reconvene the group again, finish out the process, and we presented it to the division and without any concerns. And so we were able to create a new and transparent process for faculty to be able to request assignments in global studies. And I think the result of that has been increased faculty engagement around global studies. They're excited about the program now that they're going to be able to teach in it, and they're talking about it in their home disciplines as well. And so I think that we're creating more of a buzz with that greater faculty engagement. Spring quarter, which we are currently in, we're only about that halfway point in spring quarter for us. And I'm sure Julie's touched on a lot of that, but a lot of this already. But we offered a global connection event on our campus where we highlighted the two Foothill alum and their work in the global community and how they got started at Foothill and really went abroad and took what they learned and applied it in real life settings. And Julie did a great job of organizing the event. It was well attended despite little support from the institution around marketing. And I think we really built a great template for future events. This is, bringing something together takes a lot of time, something big like this. And so I thought it was a great first attempt and a great foundation for us to move forward in the future. So thinking about my project and what I've learned in this process is one, I think despite the conflict that arose, overall, I feel like we have greater faculty engagement around global studies at the institution. When the program was started, there was a group of faculty that were really excited and really engaged, and for some reason that excitement fell off. But I think we've reinvigorated it with these conversations around marketing and assigning classes and events. And so I think we're on the path to greater engagement, both from faculty and then greater buzz for students around the program. Of course, an outcome of my fellowship here is that we've created a transparent process for assigning global studies classes that hadn't existed before. It allows faculty to be able to apply to teach the classes and gives us an opportunity to rotate faculty through teaching our two global studies classes and really, again, create that buzz that we were hoping to create. The fellowship also helped me with a better understanding of the headwinds that we're facing with the program. Just understanding, the different degree requirements, where the tension points are, and what might be some future issues that come up with the program. So it really helped me, as a dean over a very large division with a lot of departments, helped me break out some time for me to focus in on one of my smaller departments and just really understand what's going on in it. And the other reflection that I have is really we need more institutional marketing resources. That we have one director of marketing and maybe another person that assists, but it's not sufficient to be able to promote in the way we'd hope. So that helps me understand the lay of the land, and as we look at future event promotion and program promotion, looking at ways that I can use division resources to help support that. And so that is my presentation. Thank you all for being here, and drink some Lu. Thanks all.
Just a few minutes? Okay. All right. We just have a few minutes to just open the floor for questions from anybody who want to ask questions to this panel. Oh, behind you.
So my question is for Lou. It's a deeply personal one. There's funding available for faculty who create courses and see them through curriculum? Yes. Is this local to your campus, or are there grants or state? I'm genuinely incredulous. I've never heard of this before.
If your dean finds it, like I did, yeah,
okay.
It's up to the dean. That's exactly what my job is, to facilitate that. Okay. I could either find it or not, depending on the type of bottle of wine you put on my desk.
All right, I'll have a conversation with Adam then.
Just a quick question for you, Lou. Just out of curiosity, what disciplines are the faculty in who you have identified to create the courses?
Anthropology and sociology, one of each.
And I'd ask because it's just so interesting to see how who founds the program has a lot to do with who teaches it, even though supposedly minimum quals it's supposed to be, oh, it's uniquely fitted to this discipline or something. And then I think that's some of the challenges with staffing, because either multiple disciplines want to teach it or some don't think it has much to do with what they, anyway, it's still.
To be clear, I handpicked them based on their versatility. They're exceptional faculty. It wasn't like first come, first serve. It was like, hey, can you do this? Yes, I can do that. And they're very, very strong faculty.
Oh, sure. It's a larger complicator that you'll learn about, perhaps.
Thank you again for taking the time and presenting. It's so challenging, right? Especially with funding. In fact, that's my question. And especially I'm looking at Jia-Yi, right? And how you were able to secure that funding. I know at our institution, we're privileged enough now, actually, to have a grant researcher and writer. And that's something that I think we definitely, that's as a department, but I've tapped her receiving our Anna Peasy grant, right? And so working with our AANHPI community. But I guess my question is, in terms of your role as a dean and really also with the faculty, are you also encouraging faculty to seek out these grants? That is so key. I know we're all very busy. I understand that, right? But if we are really serious in moving this work forward, it is also incumbent upon us to try to find and secure that funding. So I'm just wondering how you did it, how successful you were. It's wonderful to see that you're sending faculty into different countries. We're launching a study abroad program. We're going to Japan in 2 years. That would be wonderful to actually see because our administration found us money to pay for us going to our study abroad program that we're launching this year to Italy. But you guys, as all of you know, we're getting paid for teaching the class. But if you're going abroad, someone needs to pick up that cost, right? And so our admin was appreciative of us doing this, but we were told, guys, this is only one-time funding. Right? We're only going to do this once. You're going to have to be responsible for that. So perhaps if I could maybe ask Jia-Yi and perhaps all of you some ideas here of funding in terms of tapping into the community and tapping of grants, and maybe something else, beyond just those. I'm just asking, where else can we tap again this funding? Thank you.
There's something called 100,000 Strong in the Americas that we proactively look for faculty to help us apply for grants. So this will be a grant that would help faculty to organize a group for students to go study abroad. It's $35,000, and then they have multiple grants every year, have different focus of different countries. Mostly it's for Latin American countries. Personally, I think this is President Obama's most significant educational legacy, but nobody knows about. He's the one who started it. He believes that if we study together, work together, we'll prosper together. So because of it, this organization called 100,000 Strong in the Americas, this, you can look for about 4 or 5 rounds of funding every year. You will need to identify an institution in Latin America or North America, Canada. That way you will work with them and then you apply the grants together. And then this way, if you get the grant, you'll be able to do the study abroad. So that's one. The second one is Fulbright. I was able to send a faculty to Taiwan, a business law professor, because of the connection with Fulbright. Fulbright Taiwan work with Fulbright in the United States. We sponsor our faculty, everything paid by Fulbright. It's different. It's basically Fulbright Taiwan. They want to, because Taiwan want to become bilingual nation by 2030. Because of it, they're putting a lot of funding into projects like this that will attract American professors to go to Taiwan. So because of network, we were aware of it. I literally got a call. Jia-Yi sent me someone, and then I turn around and send someone there. And that's because of faculty buy-in. That faculty was somewhat involved, but because he had gone on to Taiwan and he sit on the academic policy committee, so has been very good friends with me since from that point on. Another one is, like I said, a lot of foreign governments has a lot of funding. U.S. Embassy also have a tremendous amount of funding. So sometimes our partner universities overseas would come and tell us, hey, Jia-Yi, I need to find someone really quickly to apply for this grant with us. Like Honduras one is U.S. Embassy grant. So with the U.S. Embassy grant, that we are able to work with them and then send people over there. These are not faculty-led program. We're not there yet. I have wanted to pay for faculty travel for faculty-led education program because I don't think it's right for students to bear the cost of faculty travel. For me, sorry everybody, I'm going to put my political point of view there. It's unethical for students to bear the burden of faculty travel. But for all on the market, all the faculty-led programs, students actually share the cost. So what I wanted to do is develop my program so much so that we have grants and other revenues that will be able to take the cost of the faculty, and as a student, just pay for whatever that they have to pay. That would be very helpful already, and then increase the amount of participation. Another round of funding, like what Luke said, Dean's job, one of them really is to find resources, and one of the most significant resources for faculty is funding. So we try to find funding. For example, I would have a line of items set aside for faculty for off-contract time. So if we want to help faculty build some kind of program, we say you do this off-contract time, and that also justify for us to pay faculty stipend. So there are many ways to be able to do that.
I would just add a caveat with the Fulbright. I did Fulbright Hayes. It was faculty professional development. There are separate programs. You can be a senior Fulbright scholar in your discipline and area of expertise, but there is also a funding stream for the Fulbright group projects abroad. So if you look for that particular thing from the Department of Education announcements, the group projects is what would support taking groups of students or developing stateside target programs, either direction.
The other thing I'd say is, you have to do that for a few years until your institute might decide to institutionalize it. If you're showing success year after year after year, you just have to hack it for those few years because we build strategic plans 5 years at a time. And so you could build it in there, but you've got to show your dean that it's successful too. Dean's not going to keep paying for it if it's not successful, if that makes sense.
All right, I think that is about all the time that we have for questions, but I do encourage you, if you have questions, to come up and talk to these folks and reach out to these folks as part of your network, as part of being part of EPIC.